Hi everyone, in this video series I'm going to show you how you can use Node.js and Mongodb to create, update, delete records. Before we get into coding, I'm going to talk about SQL databases and NoSQL databases, briefly compare these two. So some of the popular SQL databases are MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle database, there's a Microsoft SQL Server. On the other hand, there are a bunch of different NoSQL databases. MongoDB is what we're going to focus on this series. So the basic difference between SQL and NoSQL databases is the most important one is the structured data versus unstructured data. As you know, SQL databases, they are a part of relational database management system, and each table is made up of rows and columns, and these tables are associated with each other. They're linked to each other using foreign keys, and it is very important that these tables are normalized so there's no data redundancy, or otherwise you can end up having data inconsistencies and or redundant data which will be costly to store. And this is very important as SQL databases really enforce the structure. So before you actually start entering your data to database, it has to be structured. You have to know your tables, you have to know your foreign keys, and then, for example, you cannot enter data into SQL database without entering the foreign keys. So there's all kinds of restrictions to preserve data integrity. And even though these are great features, this may also prove unuseful for certain cases where NoSQL database, they don't require structured data. Your data can be unstructured, and then you can actually modify your schema, data schema, as you go. So you can add more properties. You can change the schema that way. And SQL databases, again, they're table-based. On the other hand, NoSQL databases, there are several different ways the data is stored. They're document-based databases. They're key-value pairs. So, for example, for each key, you have a value. If you want to retrieve that value, you look for the key. There are graph databases, and there's wide column-based. MongoDB is a document-based database. We're going to cover the document-based Mongo. And another aspect here is the scalability. SQL database is vertically scaled, which means if you want to store more and more data, you have to up your server's specifications, such as like you have to add more horsepower to your computer, to the server, right? You have to increase the RAM, increase the storage space. So this is vertically scalable. Whereas NoSQL databases, they're distributed, and if, for example, with Mongo, if you want to scale, you want to add more data, store more data, you can just simply add more servers. So this can be a useful feature. SQL databases, they run with complex queries. If you want any kind of joining tables, cross references, these are perfect for SQL databases. If you're going to have complex transactions, then SQL database is great for this type of application. On the other hand, NoSQL databases, they don't have a standard interface for complex queries, and they run fast with simple queries. Now, in this series, we're going to inspect two different technologies. First of all is Node.js, which is going to be our server-side scripting language, scripting framework. It's an open source cross-platform JavaScript runtime environment, and it allows us to run JavaScript code on the server side, which is great because JavaScript on the client side is very common, and then a lot of times the data is exchanged in JSON format, which is JavaScript object notation. And if you also happen to have JavaScript on the server, so you can have one language and you can program the whole stack with that language. Whereas if you try to go PHP MySQL, then you can have JavaScript on the client side, PHP on the server side, and then SQL for the database. You have to know 3 different things. Node.js uses an event-driven non-blocking I/O model that makes lightweight and efficient. Non-blocking I/O model is the one of the most important features of Node.js, which allows processes to continue without blocking other processes, so it runs more efficiently. Mongodb is going to be the database. It's a document-based database. It stores data in flexible JSON-like documents. So it's really similar to JSON, and this is what it would look like, right? So you have a structure with the properties, and then you can store objects in other objects. It supports field range queries and regular expression searches. Again, it scales horizontally, so you simply add more servers instead of more computing power. And JavaScript can be used for inquiries. So again, we use client-side JavaScript, server-side JavaScript, and for database, we can also use JavaScript. So it's pretty cool. And it has great performance for simple queries. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to install Node.js and MongoDB.